Our next speaker speaks all around the country at all kinds of gun right events and conferences, and I didn't know he lives where I live. And I've been watching his videos on YouTube, literally, and Facebook for about 5 years. Charlie, come on up. Charlie Cook is a pro Second Amendment champion, does a ton of work.
There's always one guy that's got to screw things up, right? Can you please say the Second Amendment with me? A well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Charlie Cook. I'm a firearms instructor here in Massachusetts. I do make videos, as Jared was telling you. The videos I make are a little bit different than the videos everyone else makes. I have been a musician forever. I make videos where I play the trumpet with one hand and shoot a gun with the other hand. Thank you. I call them gungrams. I've got about 160 videos on YouTube, and there have been articles written on the gungrams in Spain, England, France, Germany, Italy, and China. I think all in all, the gungrams have been viewed about 20 million times all over the world. I'm trying to find someone that will watch a gungram on Antarctica, and then I'll have somebody watch these on every continent, which is pretty cool. I also host a YouTube channel called Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Riding Shotgun with Charlie gives me the opportunity to travel around and talk to a number of people in the firearms community. I've interviewed over 20 people in the last year and a half in 8 different states and in Washington, D.C. I've interviewed people that are pro-gun authors, people that have national syndicated radio shows. I've actually been on a number of the national radio shows also. I interview people that have been victims of crime. I've interviewed people that have been victims of injustice. I've interviewed people that have used a firearm to protect themselves in a self-defense situation that were then turned around and charged with 7 felonies because they protected themselves. I've had an opportunity in September to speak at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Dallas, Texas. And actually while I was there, I got to interview 5 people, and we went through, a couple of us, we drove to Dealey Plaza, which was a lot of fun. We got to go where JFK was unfortunately assassinated. But as I meet people throughout the country, and I talk to people from all over the place, they talk about how crazy the gun laws are in Massachusetts. I sat on Mark Walter's radio show on Armed American Radio at a radio station in Dallas, Texas, and I rattled off all the restrictions that we have here. And I talked about the different types of licenses that we have here. And I went on for about 3 or 4 minutes, and he looked at me and he said, "I can't believe you know all of this without any notes." I said, "This is what I teach on weekends." As I travel the country and talk to a number of people, they all talk to me about what it's like out in free America. Here's what free America is. Free America is someplace where you can buy a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds that was made after 1994. In Massachusetts, we can't have anything like that. In February, I went out to Cleveland and I co-emceed a concealed carry fashion show with a couple of radio hosts in the Cleveland area. And we went to, I actually won, are you ready for this? I won a gun at the Friends of the NRA dinner in Cleveland. I won a Kel-Tec PMR 30, which is a semi-auto handgun that holds 30 rounds of 22 mag. That is not on the approved weapons roster. So I had to sell it to my friends in Ohio. When I came back to Massachusetts, I looked on Northeast Shooters and I found somebody was selling one for $1,000. I couldn't own it. They bought it from me for $425. I could have sold it here in Massachusetts for $1,000. While we were at the gun show and they were picking up this gun, they held a couple of Glock high-cap magazines and they said, "You want to buy one of these?" And I felt like the little kid. I felt like Charlie Brown on Halloween. I said, I can't have something that has 15 rounds that's made after 1994. It was a little crazy and a little ridiculous. Some other things that my friends can have out in free America are AR-15s. Now, we all know what AR stands for, right? Does AR stand for assault rifle? No. No, it does not. Does it stand for automatic rifle? No. It does not. Does it stand for American rifle? It doesn't, but it probably should. So, I don't have any assault weapons. I'm sure you don't either, because we're all law-abiding citizens, or as some of our politicians want to make us, they want to make us law-abiding criminals. So, the AR-15, we need to become unified in what we call these tools that we have. And I'm trying to stick to the modern sporting rifle when I talk about AR-15s. The other things that we need to do is we need to do things like change the language. So instead of calling it AR-15 or calling it an assault rifle, we need to call it a modern sporting rifle. Some other things we need to do is we need to call magazines and not clips. And I always think it's interesting to hear news stories when they talk about a high-capacity magazine clip. I know that everything they say after that, it's going to be a bunch of baloney. It's going to be just as incorrect. And they do this all the time. Speaking of all the time, did you guys see the video that CNN put out about the bump stock? It was a video of a collapsible stock that they just slid back and forth. It had a suppressor on it. By the way, speaking of suppressors, do you know what has a suppressor? Besides your cars, this generator over here has a suppressor on it, so it's not as loud as it probably would be. But the video that they showed had a suppressor on it, and it had a grenade launcher, and that's what they want everyone to think that AR-15s look like, which is certainly just a bunch of baloney. So as I travel the country talking with people, interviewing them in my car, one of my objectives with riding shotgun with Charlie is to let people see that gun owners are regular people. One of the people that I got to interview was Shaneen Allen. Shaneen Allen is a woman in Pennsylvania. She's a young African-American woman, mother of two. She had a Pennsylvania permit. She went into New Jersey, and she was arrested in New Jersey at 1 o'clock in the morning. They put her in jail for a month and a half before Chris Christie pardoned her, but they wanted to put her in jail for 11 and a half years. She had no criminal intent, she had no prior record, she had nothing, and she just was in New Jersey. And I've got to tell you, this is why we need national reciprocity. Now, I'm not a politician, but I do want to put a plug in for a friend of mine who is running for state senate. His name is Steve Hall, and I was fortunate enough to bring Steve Hall's lovely high school bride to the event today. And you should definitely, let's hear it for Janet. Janet has some cards and flyers about Steve Hall. Steve is running in the Worcester, Hampshire, and Middlesex district, and he's going up against Ann Goby. Ann Goby does have a good rating on a number of gun bills, but we all know that she's not necessarily a pro-gun supporter. So Steve wanted me to tell you that he will truly stand up for our rights, and he does not support making Massachusetts a sanctuary state, which is something that Ann Goby does. The last thing that I want to say is, as I travel the country and I talk to people, I want to say that all of the gun people that I meet are friendly people. They're more than willing to help me out, whether it's sit in a car for an hour and a half as I drive around and interview them, or if it's to have them on their radio show, have them on their podcast, because gun owners are friendly people. And one of the people I interviewed is Ken Blanchard. Ken Blanchard's from Washington, D.C. He's known as the black man with a gun. And Ken Blanchard likes to say that anyone that gives you a gun is family, and anyone that wants to take a gun is an enemy. Hey now, thank you, sir. Chances are he's a bus driver. He's probably got a Utah permit, so he can travel in a bunch of other states, but not Massachusetts, right? All right, so in closing, I would like to say that please check out my videos. I make videos, I call them gungrams. I play the trumpet and shoot a gun at the same time. I have a YouTube channel that's called Riding Shotgun with Charlie, and I'm a firearm instructor also. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak to you. Thank you very much.